Before I start out this video, I just want to say, despite my channel name being Jack Talks Boxing, I am a fan of MMA and boxing. So MMA fans, if you're here, do not dislike. Please watch the video because I do stick up for MMA in this. I'm not just one-sided. So yeah, keep that in mind. For the longest time, people always used to debate what's better, boxing or MMA. What's the best combat sport? And for the longest time, people used to just say, keep it in the sport. So if you're an MMA guy, don't go to boxing. If you're a boxing guy, don't go to MMA. You'll get whooped. But ever since McGregor fought Mayweather in 2017 and McGregor had a little bit of success against Floyd in the ring, we have not heard the end of why MMA is better than boxing, how an MMA guy can go into a boxing ring and beat the boxers at their own game. And Francis Ngannou recently in October proved that to kind of be the case when he fought Tyson Fury. A lot of people consider Tyson Fury the best heavyweight in the world. He's not at all. He's very delusional. He has a bunch of issues. But Francis Ngannou dropped this dude and went 10 rounds with him. He won like 4 out of 10 rounds. You could argue he won against Tyson Fury in his first fight. He went from MMA to boxing in his first fight and gave Tyson Fury, one of the best heavyweights in the world, a big run for his money. He arguably beat him. And ever since then in October, we have not heard the end of it, similar to McGregor Mayweather. And, I think it's a totally fair point. I don't want to entirely get into why Fury almost lost to Ngannou right now. This is actually a response video I wanted to make to someone because, as I'm sure a lot of you know, for March 8th, I believe it is, it's official, Anthony Joshua versus Francis Ngannou. And this is a chance for boxing to redeem itself, and I think it absolutely will. But I'm already seeing a lot of MMA guys talking about how, oh my gosh, Anthony Joshua's worse than Tyson Fury. Ngannou's going to knock him out quick. That is not the case at all. Anthony Joshua will destroy him, and I'm very confident in that. Anthony Joshua always prepares for a fight. He always prepares. He's not going to let an MMA dude come in one fight, just take his dignity like that. But I'm getting off topic. A lot of MMA guys are already talking about why Ngannou's going to beat Joshua. And I found one particular channel made a video that was insane, and I had to talk about it. So Francis Ngannou is going to embarrass Anthony Joshua in the overrated sport of boxing by Lucas Tracy MMA. And look, my guy Tracy, I have no issue with you. You seem like a very smart guy, but you seem like you got a lot of hatred towards boxing. Like, I wanted to make a response to everything you're saying because, I have to defend my sport. MMA does a lot of things better than boxing, but some of the things you're saying in this video just aren't true about boxing. So let me just cover what I'm talking about.
Francis Ngannou is officially one of the biggest names in heavyweight boxing, and he's going to expose heavyweight boxing and boxing all together once again because I believe he's going to knock out the overrated Anthony Joshua.
If I'm being completely honest, I can't really think of a really good, valid point to show MMA fans that Joshua's going to destroy Ngannou. I feel like you kind of just have to know in your heart that, Fury and Joshua are two completely different people. God bless Fury, God bless his family, but he does have a lot of mental issues. And, we've seen him 3 years out of the ring. He has a lot of issues. He clearly did not take that seriously. And Joshua's not going to sleep on Ngannou after seeing how well he did against Fury. Joshua's going to dominate him and show that Fury's a fraud, and I'm that guy still.
Francis Ngannou is going to knock Anthony Joshua out. All right, the days of boxers being miles ahead of MMA fighters when it comes to being technical are long gone.
If you really look at the fights between the MMA guys and the boxing guys, and I know there's very few, but there's some little hidden ones in there, like Clay Collard, MMA guy and boxer. There's a bunch of examples that we don't really pay attention to, but if you look at those fights, when MMA guys have success, it's because they're so awkward and you're not used to guys fighting like that from weird angles. I fought an MMA guy in sparring. I used to train at American Top Team with MMA and boxing. I had a dude, an MMA guy, give me that work and I know sparring's different than fighting, but I had an MMA guy really give me some work when we were training together. For a round or two, I really couldn't figure him out because he was throwing punches at such weird angles. MMA guys are tricky, but they are certainly not even close to being as skilled as boxers. Come on, bro.
But now, given the fact that the UFC and MMA in general is the biggest combat sport in the world, kids grow up dreaming of being a UFC champion.
I think it was Mighty Mouse that said something like this, but he was saying how much harder it is to become a boxing champion than an MMA champion because MMA, you see how many losses these guys have? Like 6, 7, and they're really good. It's because anything could happen. You can get kicked, you can get choked out, you can get knocked out. There's so many things about it. So boxing that's a whole nother story. Let me just say, boxing is harder to become a champion in one single skill than it is MMA. But let me tell you, if you're a kid and you want to get into UFC, the money is not good. So go to boxing. It will be better for your family. Go to boxing. MMA does not pay good. Like, UFC is a bigger sport. It definitely is right now. It's going crazy. I mean, Dana White, I give all these fighters props. I think it's brilliant what they do. But, like, they don't pay the guys enough.
All right? People like me are not tuning in to watch boxing on the weekends. Even when there aren't any UFC fights. I didn't even watch Anthony Joshua's last card, Deontay Wilder's last card. They had Anthony Joshua and Deontay Wilder fight on the same card and they couldn't even fight each other? Are you fucking kidding me?
Okay, first off, bro, that is you. That card was fantastic. You saw Deontay Wilder lose. So can they not fight on the same card if it's just not them two? Bro, Wilder lost to Joseph Parker. That's how good of a matchup it was. Deontay Wilder lost. And Otto Wallin, your guy Fury, who all you MMA guys think is so amazing, the Otto Wallin guy that Joshua destroyed, bro, do you know what Wallin did to Fury? Bro, he gave him that giant cut that almost stopped, that he almost lost. If that was anyone else besides Fury, that fight would have been stopped because the brutal cut Otto Wallin, and he hurt Fury in that fight. So you can trash on the boxing all you want, but bro, you cannot deny how amazing of a card that was. There was like 8 fights in a row. And I'll be honest, MMA cards are better than boxing. Period. MMA, I have to give them props. They make the cards so much better. I wish boxing was like MMA in that sense. But don't shit on how good of a card that was, because as a boxing fan, bro, that card was incredible.
You're going to tell me that he's biting off more than he can chew against Anthony Joshua, who just beat Otto Wallin, who's a fucking can? Oh, Otto Wallin. I don't care about Otto Wallin. The guy's a pipsqueak with no power. Looks sloppy as hell. Francis Ngannou would chin him in the first round.
Okay, yo, this dude is crazy. The more that I thought about this, I was like, what happened if Otto Wallin fought Ngannou? That would be interesting, because and I definitely know you don't know this, Otto Wallin beat Murat Gassiev, who I'm 99% sure would not lose to Ngannou. Would knock him out. So he's a pips. Come on, bro. Like, come on. You don't even know who that is.
I think that Ngannou is going to be willing to take some of those Anthony Joshua jabs, just like he did against Tyson Fury. And once again, eventually I just see that if this goes to a decision, it's going to be Anthony Joshua running around the ring, just surviving and not actually trying to beat Ngannou's ass.
A lot of MMA dudes don't know this because the only freaking Fury fight they've seen is the Wilder fight, and Wilder's a popular fighter. Fury does not hit hard. Fury does not hit hard, like, at all. Like, he's a light puncher at freaking heavyweight, if we're being frank. Like, look at everyone he's fought. Like, Chisora, an old faded Chisora, he couldn't hurt him once. 10 rounds, couldn't hurt him once. Anthony Joshua hits hard. He's more of a speed combination guy. If one of Joshua's right uppercuts, and that's definitely his most powerful punch, lands on Ngannou, Ngannou's getting knocked unconscious. Period. Guaranteed. And look, this guy, you seem like a smart guy. I don't know why you're hating on boxing so much, because I love MMA and boxing, bro. That's like my two. I don't know why everyone has to argue about it. Like, I grew up in American Top Team, which is a boxing and MMA gym. And I used to talk about boxing and MMA with those guys. And, I just hope this fight shuts people up.
Because I know that if he actually goes out there and stands with Ngannou, all right, and stands with him, doesn't mean he has to scrap. He's going to find out that Ngannou's not going down to anything that he throws. Ngannou has one of the best chins in combat sports right now. I've seen this guy eat flush 4-ounce gloves in the heavyweight division to the chin multiple times. Not once have I seen this dude ever get rocked.
Okay, so these MMA dudes don't hit nearly as hard as boxers. Not even close. I don't care if it's 4-ounce gloves. Anthony Joshua hits so much harder than anyone Ngannou's ever faced, MMA or against Fury. You think the gloves would make a big difference. It genuinely doesn't, dude. Like, look at Deontay Wilder. I think Wilder and Ngannou would be really interesting. I don't think, because if Wilder lands one, he's 100% going to knock him unconscious. And I think if Ngannou lands one clean, if Wilder has a really good heart. So that'd be interesting, but that's a whole nother story. Um, Ngannou has never faced a guy who punches, like they say Ngannou's the hardest punching boxer ever. Bro, why don't you put Deontay Wilder, for example, on there? Like, Deontay Wilder knocks dudes out in better fashion than Francis does in MMA. Much better fashion than Francis does in MMA with much bigger gloves. Wilder is a much harder puncher than Ngannou. It's like magic in his hands because, like, Ngannou's jacked. Wilder's, like, has skinny legs, skinny body. So he hits harder, though. Ngannou hits very hard from what I've seen. I mean, he was able to drop Fury, but Fury's been down so many times in his career. You know that, right? Like, Fury was down by Steve Cunningham, who's a cruiserweight. He was down early in his career against a dude I don't even know. He was hurt against this dude, that dude. Wilder knocked him down. And Wilder has no boxing skill.
I don't even think that Volkanovski in his prime, maybe not post the Makhachev head kick KO, I think that Volkanovski, if he were to cross over to boxing, I think he'd go the distance with Terrence Crawford.
Okay, this dude's genuinely starting to piss me off now because that's the dumbest statement ever. Crawford would knock him out in one round, on God. Like, but hey, we're going to see when Joshua destroys Ngannou. And like I said, it's just dudes like this, and I don't have an issue with this guy, but just like, you can see just in YouTube videos, like MMA guys, boxers, I don't know why can't we all just get together and be friends? Like, yo, I mean, we're both combat sports, we're both fun. That's a ridiculous statement, though, bro. Like, you need your head shed. I think he's just saying that. Like, there's no way. But to go into the boxing MMA debate, I think MMA, if you're talking about, it's tough to say because I feel like MMA does their production better. He says something on later in the video that, like, boxing makes you wait an hour for their fights in between. And I'm like, dude, he's 100% right. That's what they make us do. And as much as I hate it, I really feel like it does give anticipation, and I kind of like that. With UFC, it's kind of just like a bunch of – you're getting everything at once. But with boxing, bro, just when the big fights happen, it's so awesome. Like, I love watching MMA. I prefer boxing. I feel like MMA can get really boring because, like, sometimes dude will just hold each other wrestling the whole time, but it can be really interesting. No hate against this dude. Check out his channel. I'll leave in the description below. But MMA boxing, I feel like we should all just get along. That's all I have to say to end it. I feel like boxing for me is much more interesting. For this guy, MMA is much more interesting. Yeah, I can admit as a boxing fan, like I said, that production's better and more people are in tune with UFC, but boxing's still there, bro. So, yeah, that's it, y'all. Peace.